The late-night host shared this bizarre video from the former president's residence in Florida.
Wishing my wife, Melania, a very happy birthday. It'd be nice to be with her, but I'm in a courthouse for a rig trial. It's a rig trial. Terrible. But we're doing very well in this rig trial. Everybody knows it. Yesterday was a big day, but I do have to begin by wishing Melania.
Jimmy Kimmel got a kick out of a report mentioning that Donald Trump is feeling extra grumpy during his trial in New York for a pretty big reason. But what really caught Kimmel's attention wasn't anything to do with the New York trial, where Trump is facing charges related to the Stormy Daniels hush money case.
Trump has been miserable in court. He said there is no more horrible thing for Donald Trump than just having to sit there and be quiet. Well, if that's the case, he's going to love prison. He's going to have a great time.
The real estate tycoon turned political figure, once trusted with the nation's nuclear codes, now spends 4 days a week stuck in a gloomy Manhattan courtroom with harsh lighting and lousy climate control.
Remember Smoking Joe Frazier? That's Smoking Everything Frazier. I mean, if you told me that was video from an insane asylum, I wouldn't bat an eye.
Donald Trump, a billionaire used to hopping between lively campaign rallies and his Florida estate, has endured 2 weeks of this discomfort, with potentially 6 more to come, sitting awkwardly at the defense table in the city where he built his real estate empire and launched his 2016 White House bid. Despite facing 34 felony charges in New York, it's the minor inconveniences of being on trial that seem to irk him the most. We've learned quite a bit about how Donald Trump operates behind closed doors, but his ongoing criminal trial might offer even more insight into how he and his inner circle navigated political crises, especially during pivotal moments like the final months of the 2016 election, even before Trump formally announced his candidacy in 2015. Trump was no stranger to the tabloids, grabbing attention for both his business triumphs and personal controversies. His moves often unfolded in public, as he narrated his own story in real time, though his version might not always match reality. Along his political path, Trump's every move received extensive coverage, with numerous books and insider reports dissecting his campaign, presidency, and life after leaving office. Yet, the reliability and worth of these narratives can differ great, often mirroring the biases of their creators or sources.
And they're keeping me in a courtroom, it's freezing by the way, in a courtroom all day long. Well, he's out campaigning. That's probably an advantage because he can't campaign. Nobody knows what he's doing. He can't put 2 sentences together.
Trump's time in court sounds far from enjoyable. He's been griping about the chilly courtroom temperature, feeling the cold during the hearings. Plus, he's restricted to sipping only water, unable to indulge in his usual multiple Diet Cokes. Bathroom breaks are strictly reserved for court recesses, and he's constantly under the watchful eyes of the 12 jurors and 6 alternates, who scrutinize his every move, even catching his yawns and murmurs. But perhaps the toughest part for Trump is having to stay silent as witnesses recount his alleged offenses and personal missteps just a stone's throw away from him.
I'm allowed to defend myself, and yet other people are allowed to say whatever they want about me. Very, very unfair. Having to do with the schools and the closings, that's Biden's fault. And by the way, this trial is all Biden. This is all Biden, just in case anybody has any question.
John Katsimatidis, a close friend of Trump and a well-known New York grocery store magnate, paints a picture of Trump feeling downright miserable during the trial. Katsimatidis describes the ordeal of having to sit silently in court as just awful. While Trump sometimes seems focused, flipping through papers or chatting with his legal team, there are times when he looks plainly bored, shutting his eyes for long stretches, nodding off, and slouching with his arms crossed, appearing relaxed.
Trump was spotted apparently snoozing in court 2 days in a row, and the late-night comics are having a field.
Possible his lawyers are tranquilizing him to keep the outbursts at a minimum.
Trump being on trial is tough for anyone, remarked Tina Luongo, who leads the criminal defense practice at the Legal Aid Society. Her clients who are in jail get jolted awake at Rikers Island at 4 a.m., tossed onto a bus, and given a cheese sandwich and milk carton for lunch. Any attempt by him to assert himself even a bit can lead to a scolding from the judge.
Not let me go through the graduation of my son, who's worked very, very hard.
Trump doesn't have much say over his schedule these days. The judge isn't eager to make exceptions for his personal or legal matters. When Trump asked to attend his son Barron's high school graduation, the judge didn't decide immediately, choosing to wait and see how the case unfolded. Likewise, Trump's request to attend a Supreme Court hearing on whether he could be prosecuted for crimes was denied, even though the judge recognized its importance.
Indicted, the United States would face, quote, problems the likes of which perhaps we've never seen. Then,
in court, the district attorney's office explained to the jury a story about illegal payments that were meant to unfairly affect the 2016 election. The prosecutor, Matthew Colangelo, said Donald Trump supposedly organized this illegal plan to try to win the presidential election. He also claimed that Trump tried to hide this wrongdoing by repeatedly lying about business records in New York. Colangelo went on to describe in detail Trump's alleged actions with Cohen and David Pecker, the former head of American Media Inc., to stop damaging information from coming out during the election. Colangelo also talked about concerns regarding Cohen's credibility, but said that other witnesses and evidence supported Cohen's testimony.
It looks like the judge will not let me go through the graduation of my son, who's worked very, very hard.
The former president stopped by a bodega in Harlem last night and was asked how he felt about the first 7 jurors selected.
Do you think the juror in your mind is an ideal juror?
Anybody that's fair.
Do you believe that the jurors seated today?
I'll let you know after.
David Pecker, the former CEO of Amy, started his testimony in the trial against Trump on Monday. He spoke for less than 30 minutes before the court ended for the day, but he's expected to continue on Tuesday. The prosecutor, Colangelo, called Pecker a co-conspirator, emphasizing his crucial role in Trump's strategy to control his image before the 2016 election. The prosecution argues that a meeting at Trump Tower in August 2015 involving Pecker and Cohen kick-started the scheme that led to Trump's criminal charges. They claim Pecker agreed to be the campaign's informant, getting info from tabloids. Colangelo outlined the plan. Army would publish positive articles about Trump, bash his rivals, and bury any bad stories. He told the jury that the catch-and-kill tactic was key to the conspiracy. Pecker is set to explain more about the scheme and his role in arranging 2 agreements to hide damaging stories about Trump, including paying $150,000 to Karen McDougal, who said she had an affair with him. Just before leaving the stand, Pecker exchanged greetings with Trump's team, despite Trump's repeated denials of these allegations. As the criminal trial began, Trump's other legal team was in a nearby courtroom discussing the validity of the $175 million bond he posted for his civil fraud case appeal. In that case, he was found guilty of inflating his asset values to get better loan terms. Trump couldn't attend the civil hearing because he's required to be present every day of the criminal trial. On Monday, he didn't hide his feelings about Attorney General Letitia James as he entered and left the courtroom. During the hearing, Trump's lawyers and the New York Attorney General's office agreed on the terms of the $175 million bond. Earlier, James's team questioned the financial backing of the underwriter, KN Specialty Insurance Company. Later, Trump's civil case lawyers joined the criminal trial and spoke to the media outside the courtroom where Trump was seated. Before the trial resumed, Judge Merchant addressed allegations that Trump violated the gag order prohibiting discussion of witnesses. The district attorney's office is asking for a $1,000 penalty for each time Trump allegedly broke the gag order, both before and during the trial. They also want the judge to remind Trump that he could go to jail if he continues to ignore the order. Prosecutor Chris Conroy emphasized that Trump is subject to the same rules as any other defendant and accountable to the court. Trump's legal team argues that his social media posts didn't violate the gag order because they were related to campaign matters. Emil Bowe, Trump's attorney, argued last week that Cohen's attacks on Trump were linked to the campaign, so Trump's responses were also campaign-related. After court on Monday, Trump spoke to the media about Cohen, stating that Cohen's issues were unrelated to him and that Cohen went to jail on his own accord. Judge Merchant said that if discussions about the gag order weren't concluded, they would be continued at another time. What do you think about all of this? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to stay updated on the upcoming elections. See you in the next update.